So here at Trinity, for those of you that might be guests with us, before we get into the sermon, we have what's called a worldview segment. You think, well, what do you do and what is a worldview segment? Well, we believe today more than ever, Christians need two things. They need to be informed about what's happening in our world. Why? Informed so you can know how to pray, so that through that prayer, you're empowered to act, to do something, to be light that shines in a dark world. Daniel chapter 12, verse 10, it says, "Many shall be purified, made white, and refined, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand." We want to be amongst the wise men and women of our generation who have discernment, have insight, and have understanding as to what is going on. As this book of Daniel was written by the prophet Daniel, it wasn't simply written for that ancient audience thousands of years ago. It is a prophetic truth for us today. In this particular moment in history, when the lines between truth and deception have never been more blurred. I mean, just look around you. Our world is engulfed with competing narratives, contradicting truths, and endless streams of deceptive information that are being pumped into the hearts and minds of this generation more today than ever before. Imagine, we find ourselves living in a time where womanhood is being redefined. So let's talk briefly about who gets to be a mother. So imagine walking into a greeting card store the week before Mother's Day, and there are rows and rows of cards stretched before you. But some of these cards, get this, they no longer say Happy Mother's Day. Instead, they say Happy Birthing Person Day. It's just not the same, is it? No. You're confused, and you should be confused. You know, you check the back of the card to make sure it's not a parody, but it's real. It is absolutely real. It's 2025, and in 2025, even cards are afraid to honor moms. So we live in a generation that's trying to redefine what it means to be a woman, what it means to be a mother. People are actually having conversations, and they think they're intelligent about, can a man be a mother? Can motherhood be rented out like a piece of property? And who has the right to bear the title of mom? We're witnessing the cancellation of womanhood today. That's what men and women's sports is really all about, the cancellation of womanhood. And we're witnessing a cultural coup in our own times in which we're living, a hostile takeover of biblical womanhood. Consider how language has shifted. Women are now referred to as birthing persons in many circles around our country. Breastfeeding is now called chest feeding. Laws have even been shifted in places like California and New York, where birth certificates are listed as not mother and father, but parent one, parent two, instead of mother and father. I guess next year's cards will read, Happy Parent One Day from Offspring A, Subordinate B, Dog Unit Number 7. I don't know what we're going to eventually get to here, but the path we're on is not very good. Science is being twisted. The media headlines proclaim transgender man gives birth. That is a falsehood and that is a lie. It's confusing biology with identity. But let's be clear. Biology is not bigotry. Calling a mother a birthing person is not inclusive. It is absolutely wrong and insulting. It reduces the most sacred vocation on earth, motherhood, to a function. In Genesis 3:20, Adam named his wife Eve because she would become the mother of all the living. Matter of fact, the Hebrew word for the name Eve means life giver. God didn't call her birthing unit number 1. He bestowed upon the very first mother dignity, design, and destiny. And matter of fact, of all 8 billion people living on planet Earth today, we all come from our original parents, Adam and Eve. Not parent 1, not parent 2, Adam and Eve, because Eve is the mother of all living. And to be a mom means you are a giver of life. So motherhood is not a construct, it's a calling, a sacred, holy calling. It's not incidental, it is intentional. And this doesn't demean a woman who is single or childless or struggling with infertility. Because in Scripture, spiritual motherhood is also celebrated. A woman in the Old Testament referred to herself as a mother of Israel. You could be a mother to your generation. Think of Deborah, She's no indication that she was a mother. Or Priscilla in the New Testament, no indication that she was a mother, but these were powerful women of faith. So in a culture that says anyone can be a mother, it cheapens the sacred identity that God gave to a woman. And listen, here's a warning. Cultural confusion is a strategy. Confusion through politics, media, religion, and education, higher education. Confusion that they're sowing in this generation is a strategy. This confusion is not accidental. It is strategic. It is the spirit of Babel returning. Let us make a name for ourselves. Today it says, let us make a new identity for ourselves. Genderless, motherless, fatherless, rootless. But the great G.K. Chesterton warned us long ago when he said this: the moment you abolish the God-given distinctions, you do not get equality, you get tyranny. So let us honor God's design. It's time for the church to speak clearly and compassionately. We must celebrate mothers as life bearers and world shapers. We must resist the distortion of God's design in language, law, and identity. And we must teach this next generation, our sons and daughters, that motherhood is not a role to be mimicked. It is a miracle to be honored.